What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New, and honey, I am back in the building. This time, honey, I'm back to play a clip from Real Housewives of Potomac where Giselle was having a conversation with her daughters on being emotionally unavailable, and then they began asking her about her dating life. So I'm going to play that clip for you guys, and I will be in and out with my commentary.
How do you guys feel about me, going out every now and again?
That's fun. That's good. Yeah. We just don't want you alone and gross and by yourself.
Huh?
We don't want you to die alone. So.
Now, really quickly, I was listening to a couple of YouTubers, and a man got my attention and this woman got my attention. And the woman was saying that, oh, well, the girls shouldn't have said that to their mother, and, they don't want her to die alone, and there's nothing wrong with being by yourself, and, all this strong black woman talk, right? And Miss Robinson is a strong black woman herself, but within reason. I like to be realistic and keep it real. I don't think that there's anything wrong with what the girls said to their mother. They know that she is emotionally unavailable. They know that she does not have what it takes to stay in a long-term relationship because she has some personal issues within herself, right? Anytime you are emotionally unavailable, you got a lot going on inside of you. And I just felt like the daughters providing that feedback to their mother is how they felt. And it's real, and it's raw, and it's coming from, her children. They're saying, I want better for you, Mom. I want you to have somebody. I want you to have love. That is what these young ladies is saying. They are not saying you're gross if you're alone. And even though it came out like that, I don't think that that's what these young ladies meant. They just want somebody to love on their mom, and they want their mom to love on somebody as well. That is what the cheering meant, okay? I didn't like the response from the YouTuber because to me it was too much of, you don't need a man and you could be by yourself. And I just feel like that type of advice keeps a lot of young women stuck. We all know that women don't need a man, right? A man does not make us. But at the same time, if these young ladies, if they don't see their mother in a relationship, a positive, prosperous relationship, that's going to give them some doubts and insecurities about their own relationships, right? And I also listened to the response of a male YouTuber, and his response to this whole scene was, well, the girls will learn about relationships once they get into their own relationships. They can't get all this information from their mother. Wrong answer. Okay, we always learn so much from our parents. Okay, we pick up on the things that they say. We pick up on the things that they do, their dating life, if they are dating, if they are not dating, if they are not emotionally available, if they are emotionally available. We pick up on all of that. And I just think it's so important to when we are talking to the children of the future, honey, it's important that we instill them with the truth and the right messaging. That way we don't perpetuate this negative, toxic cycle of not having a partner in our life. And I'm not at all saying that your worth should come from you having a partner. But some people, they avoid having a partner. They do because they want to stay in negative, bitter, toxic land. They want to keep reiterating their last relationship with Floyd or Clyde or whoever, you know, they want to just keep all that negativity going and men ain't shit and, you know, girl, ain't none of these men no good. None of that helps our young ladies. It just keeps them stuck and stagnant. Okay. So please watch out from, you know, for the bad advice that is given, honey, on YouTube. Okay. Because I got a lady coming on, and she gonna set the record straight, and her name is Miss April Mason. Yes, you have heard of her. Okay. She is so beautiful, and she is a dating femininity coach. But April didn't retire. She said she's sick of, you know, trying to give you half of the advice and y'all won't listen, honey. But yes, I love this clip that I stumbled across. But before I play that clip, you guys, I want to play the rest of Giselle and her daughters talking, right? Because these are very normal conversations that young ladies have with their mother.
It's looking like that. You don't have anyone near you. Yeah, you're pretty lonely.
Okay, but right now, I'm casually dating.
Wait, you're dating someone?
Yes. But these are just casual encounters.
But do you want a serious relationship?
Not right now.
So what is the point? Just for fun, because she's bored.
What?
She's casually dating because she is emotionally unavailable. And it's unfortunate. A lot of women, a lot of black women especially, are emotionally unavailable. I want to read some signs of being emotionally unavailable. Okay, so some signs of emotional unavailability is saying things like, I'm not ready to commit. Okay. You heard what Giselle said. I'm not ready for nothing serious. Another sign of being emotionally unavailable is like being secretive. Nobody ever knows where you stand in your dating life. If you notice on the show, it's okay for this woman to be all up in Wendy's marriage, to be all up in Candace's marriage, Ashley's marriage, Karen's marriage. But when it comes to her dating life, her mouth is quiet. Okay, she's on hush mode. Oh, she can't tell this. She can't reveal that. Everything is very vague. Okay? Very vague. That's how you know somebody is emotionally unavailable. Also, they will pine after an ex-partner. And this is like a phantom ex. We saw this with Jamal Bryant. She went back to him, back down memory lane, and she shouldn't have never did that. And I believe she did that for a storyline, not for love. She should have just moved on, you know, with her life. So, yeah, Giselle definitely has some issues. And she is definitely going to pass that down, you know, to her daughters. Now, of course, we can't control, you know, the lives that our children will lead in the future. You know, all of that is not on us, right? Some of that is up to them and who they choose to be in their relationships. But they are her children and they are looking at her. And, you know, by her behavior, and if she doesn't change it, this will have a negative effect on her daughter's dating lives. Okay, because everything that they see their mother do, they will end up doing it. You know, we really do pick up a lot of our behaviors from our parents, right? And if you're anything like me, you know, I've had to unlearn some toxic behavior traits from my mother, okay, that will not help me in the dating world. So I'm going to continue to play that audio out, you guys, and then I will have Miss April Mason, honey. She will be speaking to this.
None of your business.
We just don't want you to be by yourself. That's all. We just don't want you to be by yourself.
I got my foot is kind of starting. Like I want to sit down for a second. Woo, child. Oh, gosh.
I think we're going to break the bench.
Now, this bench is a little rickety. It's a little rickety. Speaking of like dating and all that kind of good stuff, you guys made it very clear to me that I'm emotionally unavailable. I have not necessarily been vulnerable in my relationships with men.
Okay. You know.
Okay. So you guys are going to start dating very soon. If you're not already, Grace Giselle Bryant. And I don't want you guys to be that way.
Well, it's like harder for us because like we don't see you like in relationships. It's like it's hard to like look up to you or dad.
And really quickly, I had the type of mother where my mother would be like, you don't need no man, and why you always trying to be in a relationship? And I think like that type of advice, that could make a young lady codependent. And that's exactly how I ended up in my 20s. I felt like I needed a man to validate me. So much of this bad advice that some of these women give you guys, it really does have negative consequences, you know, for your future or your children's future if they listen to that. When it comes to relationship advice, I try to stay away from people that are very negative. I don't care how many subscribers they got, how many views or shout outs they get. A lot of people on YouTube, especially the women that give dating advice, they come off as being very bitter, very angry, very resentful. They come off as like having a chip on their shoulder. As it pertains to men, they come off as being very disgruntled. And, you know, it just doesn't help you to, you know, listen to people like that can keep you stuck and stagnant in the future. You know, you want to kind of listen to somebody that's, you know, offering a balanced perspective.
It's like harder for us because like we don't see you like in relationships. Like it's hard to like look up to you or dad.
And really quickly to that young lady's point, I believe that's Grace speaking. You know, there are some YouTube women that they don't really offer you any advice. On the contrary, it's just stay away from men and they so negative. And don't get me wrong, I go in on men on my channel, you know, but I'm not going to have this perspective of, well, stay away from men and they so negative, and then you don't never see or hear me going out on dates. Or do you see what I'm saying? I just feel like your opinion needs to correlate with your life. And if you are stuck and stagnant, you're not dating. It's kind of like your advice, in my opinion, it will fall on deaf ears because I don't want to hear nothing from you. I don't see any transformation in your life. I don't see you giving a man another chance. I just see you in stuck and stagnant land, complaining and bitching and moaning and judging everybody else. And you don't never come up with a solution to your own situation.
It's like you saw a marriage and then you saw it like disappear, and then we just never saw one. We never saw one at all. I don't even remember you guys being married. It's hard to see what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, to see what it actually is.
And I grew up feeling guilty for wanting love in my life because my mother had that tone of, well, you don't need a man, and why you always trying to define yourself by having a man? And like she, you know, could have been a bit more feminine and accepting, like, well, my daughter, you know, is going to want love in her life. And, you know, and certainly, you know, my mother ended up coming around, you know, because shit, I done had, you know, several boyfriends. But if she would have just been more relaxed about it instead of, well, you shouldn't feel like this and you shouldn't do this and why you let that man do this and, you know, why do you even need a man and you just need to go to school. And this is what a lot of these black women, older black women, right? This is what they do. they perpetuate this narrative of you don't need a man and just focus on school. And I actually checked my mom one time because she had said something about one of my nephews and he was dating. And she said, well, I told him to stay away from that woman and just go to school and get good grades. I said, that's bad advice. He ain't trying to hear that shit. He's here to love. Life is not just about accolades and money. Okay. Look, my mother was a Capricorn, honey. Okay. Shout out to the Capricorns. Y'all just be about that money all the time. Okay. Some of y'all. And that's cool, but that's not all there is to life. People want love. Yes, we want healthy love, but this advice about just getting your education and just focus on the books and, of course, these children, they need to kind of do that, but you need to offer them some more guidance on this situation and say, well, choose this type of man or, date this type of person with these different, personality characteristics, right? Like you need to just give better, helpful advice and don't be so stagnant in your approach and, well, avoid this and you don't need no man. And I never want to come off like that. I feel like men are here for a reason and we need to work with them, the right ones, right? Okay, because I don't want y'all going out here just getting any man. We want good men. Men that can help you, that are a benefit, that are a partner, not a patient. Okay, and Miss Robinson then had a few patients. And I ain't no damn doctor. Okay?
Wow, this is worse than I thought. I mean, it's not your fault, but it's just
it is her damn fault. See, they was still, trying to be nice. It's their mother. I get it. But I felt like this conversation that they were having with their mother is just so universal and is so important because your children really are looking at you and they're looking to see, do they see progress? Do they see growth in your personal life? No, they don't see that with Giselle. They see stagnation. They see her sitting on the sidelines judging other people. Okay, and we see a lot of people doing that, and it's easy to do that. It really is easy to fall into that trap.
It's just hard for us, and it's going to be hard for our whole lives because we never had that experience.
I was born with walls. I just did not know what they were until my children are staring me in my face and telling me emotionally, I am as tough as it gets.
And that's a problem. Giselle and so many other women, they need to learn to be vulnerable. Okay? With the right man, not with a demon. And we will talk about them demons, honey, in another video. But now, honey, let me play, honey, what Miss April Mason has to say about all of this.
So we talk about the hurt, and they don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be wounded. And I get it. I promise you, April, I get it. I understand it. I guess my question is, what did, especially having to be beholden to a man, but a lot of their moms were married 30, 40, 50 years. What happened in that situation that caused some of our women to be so, you want marriage, but it's like you got all the education, you got all the other stuff, but a man was here on your priority level. Everything else was here because they told you, get your education, take care of yourself, don't depend on no man. Why would a mom who was depending on a man for 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, tell her daughter, I don't want you to be like me?
Because a lot of those women also, although they were married, they dealt with a lot of abuse. So back then, women were not educated to where they could go make their own money. So, and back then also, men were abused. Even now, A lot of them dealt with abuse, but they could not leave. And the children saw that. So although we have this imaging when we go to church, like everything is all good, Daddy was still an alcoholic. Daddy was still putting his hands on Mama. Daddy was, if he wasn't putting his hands on Mama, he might have been emotionally abusive to her. But because Mama did not have her own financial stability, Mama had to stay.
And women that get a divorce, a woman who has graduated from college and has her own financial means of taking care of herself, 92% of divorces that happen, she files. Because she can take care of herself. I think the number is either 25 or 32% in the cases in which they don't have the resources to be able to do it themselves.
And it's been a catch-22 for us because, yes, our mothers may have gone through things because of not having the financial backing, but it makes it easy to walk away when you do have a financial backing and you are self-sufficient. It makes you not want to have to deal with nothing. Or have to work through things. True. Now, certain things you just don't work through. It's a wrap. But most of the time, to answer your question, it's because of what women went through being married, not having the same rights, not being able to go to work and make a living and have to depend on a man, and then he dictate how you gonna eat. He dictate, how the house is being ran, and he may be abusing you, and he might have some women on the side, and he got, back then they had all whole families that you didn't know about. So that's why Mama can be so venomous in her words when she say, go get educated and get your money. And there was nothing wrong with that. But the downside of it was they weren't pushing, but be a feminine woman while you do it.
Boom. Okay. Because that is what I was taught. Get your education, get your money, get this, get that. No education on men. None. Not on dating, not on how to make a relationship work. My mother pretty much told me that men will disappoint me. That was just it. She would just say they think what they little head and not their big head. That was her thing. And some of that is true. I don't want to just put it out there like, my mother gave me all this bad advice. Some of what she told me, it was true, and it was very helpful in my dating life because, I already knew, this the bad guy. Okay, it kind of gave me a gift of discernment, like, this guy is cool, But we have to be mindful to the young ladies that are coming after us that we don't give them a whole bunch of diluted bad advice. And we have to make sure that we ourselves as women, we're not stagnant. We're not stuck. We're not talking about Ray from 10 years ago and we still ain't been out on no damn date. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that's not helping the situation. That's just staying in one place. And of course, you don't have to date if you don't want to, but you kind of can't talk about relationships without talking about how you are in this present day, how you are relating. Are you relating in any type of way with the opposite sex? What are you doing to improve this situation for the generations that may come after you? Are you trying anything new? Are you applying anything that you've learned through the years instead of just sitting up complaining about how men ain't shit? Because that's not helping the generations that come after us. That's just keeping everybody in one place.
Keep your girl while you do it. That's the part. So we've gotten so far to the other side.
So who knows how to? So we haven't seen it because they didn't see their mom do it. Mm-hmm. That many of this generation or our generation, whatever, they're not. They didn't see their moms do what they're doing. So their first generation accomplishment, etc., in many cases. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't see a model with this, you got to kind of figure it out on your own.
That's what I had to do. because my mother was on the other side. She was more of the what I thought was passive back then, and my stepfather was very verbally abusive to her, and she depended upon him. She had a little daycare at the house, but he ran the money, and he did have a job. But my mother was very what I thought was passive. I now understand she was just a feminine woman that chose the wrong man. Is what she was, right? So me seeing how he mishandled her, I got extremely hard. So the woman that you see now, I had to learn how to get to the middle. So I do know how to take care of myself, and I'm very self-sufficient. I just don't lead with that. So it's understanding, like I tell women all the time, use your resources to get into the rooms where those men are that you want to meet. But when you get into the rooms, your accomplishments and what, your how much money you have, you don't play on that. Because those men don't need you for that. You might need the money to get in the room, but the men in the room don't need you for no money. So you got to know how to balance that. I had to learn that. So everything that I've shared with you today are things that I had to actually go through and learn because, I watched my mother be mishandled and I went extremely left. Man, screw these dudes. And what I did, I now use my girl for good now. But what my thing was, I used to crush men before they could get to me. So I knew how to put you in the palm of my hand and crush you. And that was my vice. I didn't want you. The moment I felt like I could have you, okay, whatever. It was that for me. Wow. I was that girl. Like, I was a savage. I'm a reformed savage. And that's why I know a lot of the things that I know and can teach women how to use them for the good. Like I always tell people, Delilah knew something in the Bible, not necessarily her motive, but look at her method. The method still works. You determine what your motive is going to be. I realize, April, you ain't hurt nobody but yourself. Although you're looking at what happened to your mom and you're crushing men just because you don't like them. And I remember I went through the 12 years of molestation with my father and stepfather. So I'm crushing hearts. I'm luring you in with seduction, but I don't really want you because look at what I had to go through. So I had to heal through that, which is, like I said, why I'm able to speak man the way that I am. I don't know if that.
And really quickly, guys, a lot of women I notice on YouTube, they haven't healed, and a lot of people will say, well, I've been to therapy. It don't sound like it. I'm not hearing or seeing nothing different from you. So I can't listen to you and I can't take you seriously. I can only take you at face value. I can only take you on the level that you are on now. And you tend to stay at that level, right?
What is the catalyst of your healing?
Results. I didn't like the results I was getting in life. I always tell people, if you don't like what you're getting in life, that means you need to change. So although I was this hardcore savage and crushing fools' hearts, I was very soft and gentle.
It doesn't look like you're crushing the hearts, though. That's what I'm saying.
What?
They look like you're crushing.
Fire, man. And my best friend told me, he said, y'all funnel everything through sex. Everything through something sexual.
You're crushed. You're doing like this. Well, I don't know no heart. It just be dangling. I don't know the dangling heart. I'm just saying.
Well, crush. Although I was her, I created that wall. I created that woman.
Yeah.
That wasn't my true self. I was very soft and gentle and just loving, caring. Like I'm a caterer. I like to take care of my man and all of those things, right? As long as it's a reciprocal thing, right? So that's really who I am. But I created this hardcore woman and I was battling within, right? And that's where the result had to change. And I remember I was somewhere and Bishop Tudor Bismarck, I met him and he looked at me, he said, "You're a rhinoceros." And I was like, "What you mean?"
First of all,
what?
I'm just saying a rhinoceros.
Yeah,
you couldn't have said an ostrich.
Right. No, he said, "You're a rhinoceros." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Have you ever been to my country?" I said, "No." He said, "Have you ever touched a rhinoceros?" I said, "No."
You never been to South Africa? Or to Africa?
No, I haven't. I want to go.
Yo, April.
I want to go. I've been wanting to go to Johannesburg for a minute.
Go to Cape Town. Joburg is fun. It's cool.
Don't crush my dreams.
I'm not gonna crush your dream. I'm just saying, Joburg, you got to be about that life just a little bit.
They say it's kind of like New York.
Joburg is interesting, yeah, but it's fine. Hey, don't get me wrong. It's
I want the whole African experience.
You got to go to Cape Town. It's so beautiful.
Okay.
If you're going to South Africa, just go to both of them.
Okay. So he said, have you ever touched a rhinoceros? I said, no. He said, a rhinoceros, when you go like this, it's very hard. But when you go like this, it's very soft. He said, that's you. It was me. So I created this exterior because of what I had gone through in life and what I had gone through with men, right? I had to, based upon all the stuff, the rapes and all that stuff that I'd gone through in my earlier years, I should hate men. We shouldn't even be able to have this conversation. But the core of who April Mason was that hope in the middle. So I had to come to my resolve and say, I'm just going to be her. And I'm going to choose men that can receive and protect and guard that part of who I am.
Oh, that's good.
So in order to choose those men, I had to change my appetite for what I was programmed with. And so that's where that process started taking place, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And when you talk in closing here, I think about a lot of the music that's out, the Meg Thee Stallions, the City Girls. I mean, a lot of that, the stuff that really talks about, it ain't even just women empowerment. It's more like, I'm trying to prove to you that I'm a dude. I can do what you do. Yeah, real trick. I don't care about you. All you can do is,
slide in the DMs, get the keys, creep in at night.
Scamming. Yeah.
That's hurt. That's hurt. That's hurt.
And it's hard to tell people that's hurt music.
Mm-hmm. That's hurt music.
That's hurt music.
That's hurt music. I said, on my playlist, there are no sad songs. I don't want to hear another sad love song, because what people don't understand is that gets in your energy.
Some of them they feel good about themselves though, because it makes me feel good.
Validated.
It empowers me.
I ain't the only one.
Right. I don't need no N-word. I don't need I don't need this. And so when I play that, when I hear that, it makes me feel great. And I feel up. But that stuff, to your point, gets in your spirit.
It's in your spirit. And then when you go home at night, and that's when my shift started. I remember I would be happy, go lucky during the daytime. But I would cry myself to sleep almost every night. Because that gentler side of me that wanted to be cared for, that wanted to be seen and heard, that was the real. I always tell people, femininity loves the dark. And what I mean by that is, femininity is all about being open and being vulnerable. When are we most open and vulnerable?
Yeah, nobody sees, yeah.
Nobody sees. Okay? So that was my me being vulnerable, but then I got to put the mask on and let these fools know I ain't about that life. Play with me if you want to. Yeah. I had to put that back on the next day. Yeah. But after, the kids are in bed and all that, my kids never got to see that side of me. I'm bawling because there's nobody laying next by me. I do my best when I'm in relationship, but I hadn't gotten all of that hurt out of me yet to be able to receive somebody. So there's a dismantling that happens. Even though you might know these things that I teach, there's a dismantling that happens, and that should happen. You shouldn't learn this stuff and just immediately go get into a relationship. Let the dismantling happen. Go through the process of this has to happen, and I'm becoming a better woman for me first, or I'm becoming a better man for me first. Because people will say, well, if you know all that, why are you single? Because I should not have been with nobody. Because I would have messed that up. The dismantling had to happen. Or just because you learn something in a book, just because you read a recipe in a book, it don't mean you know how to do the recipe without the book. You still have to go through that process. Just because the knowledge is there, it doesn't mean you have applied it. The information is there, it doesn't mean you have applied it to turn it into knowledge yet. And you still have to go through, the mama stuff, the daddy stuff that they put on you, their training, their belief system. It can take years to do that. Doesn't mean that you don't move forward in a relationship, but understand whoever you move forward with, and if they're a good, healthy person, they still gonna trigger you. You still gonna feel nervous. Although I've been healing myself and I've been taking this time and I've been meditating, I don't give a damn about that. If ain't no man or no woman there to trigger you to see and challenge if what you've been doing actually work.
Boom! I love this woman. I love her because she is speaking so much truth.
If you've just been saying it. You will never know until you get into a situation. Well, I'm going to wait for God to send me. You wouldn't know God's voice if God was standing there talking to you, because you said, God, I want this job. You got the job. You had to go pray about it again. You didn't even know that was the answer. So y'all praying about stuff that you're getting the answer to. When God told you to leave and you got the memo to leave, no, I ain't going to leave yet because I'm waiting on God. It already is there. So God can't send you no mate because you can't hear God's voice. No way. So all of this is just, I'm protecting myself. I don't want to be open. So I'm going to put it on God. I'm going to wait for God to send me a godly man. No, you don't want a godly man. You want a church dude. Godly man and a church dude are two different things.
Right.
All right, y'all. That's all I got to say about that. Get down in Miss Robinson's comments, honey. Let me know what you thought about this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I am your girl, brand new, and I will check you guys out in the next video.